Hi, my name is Jordan and this is my testimony. I grew up in a Christian household. My dad was an alcoholic and my mom was always away on work trips. And when I was 11 years old, I started smoking, and my dealer at the time, he was 19 at the time and I was 11. And we met, started talking, and we ended up dating. I ended up getting groomed by him. He was involved in human trafficking and in a gang and saw some pretty traumatic things. Ended up getting on drugs, and then he ended up faking his death around I was 14. We were together for about 4 to 5 years. And the Lord told my mom that we needed to move, and we were living in Charlotte at the time, so we ended up moving to Walhalla, which is where I live now. And I just escalated. I went downhill. I started being promiscuous. I got on even more drugs. I was sneaking out, just rebelling against my parents. I was going on all these parties, anything, you name it, I was probably doing. And I went to a counselor at the time, and I remember her sitting in that chair, and she looked at me and she was like, "You have been trafficked." And I looked at her and I was like, "What?" Because I also don't remember everything about the time when I was groomed. The Lord is still revealing those things to me. But, and she told me I needed to be sent away. And I remember going behind the dumpster, like behind the counseling office, and just like cussing her out and just being very disrespectful and being like, "You're crazy." And I ended up going to Teen Challenge, which is in Virginia, and it literally saved my life. I found God. I got a relationship with Him. I completely changed my life around, and my life got 100 times better. I got sober. I got off of drugs, and I was there for a year. And April 5th of 2023, I graduated. And I went home. Everything was going good. I had a good relationship with the Lord. And about 4 to 5 months after, I ended up getting burned. I was working at the clubhouse right by my house, because we live on the golf course, and I was cleaning out the fryer and they didn't have the right pan for me to do it, and I was like using a big pot pan, and I slipped in the boiling hot water with the chemical like poured on me. So I ended up having to get airlifted to Augusta the Burn Center. I was wrapped up for like 3 months, couldn't shower. I burnt 12% of my body. It was pretty bad. And after that, I kind of just distanced myself from the Lord, because part of me was like, why do things keep on happening to me when I'm following you and doing the things that I feel like I should be doing or you're telling me to do? So I kind of went downhill in that part. I was friends. When I first moved to Walhalla, I met this guy, and we were friends for about 3 years. And he ended up asking me to date him, and we ended up dating. We dated for a year. It was very toxic, verbally abusive. It was not good at all. It was just a constant cycle of degrading, and he always degraded me for my past, and I was never able to heal from my past. It was just very abusive relationship. And I found out I was pregnant probably about 3 months into our relationship. And he wanted me to abort it, and I was like, no, I do not want to abort it. And I remember praying, because I did have some thoughts about aborting Xavier, which is my son now. And I remember praying in my car and being like, Lord, if you don't want me to kill this child, like, let me be 6 months pregnant. And I was exactly 6 months pregnant when I went into Foothills, which is a pregnancy center that did my ultrasound. And I just remember, like, after they told me I was 6 months pregnant, I just remember, like, getting on my knees and just being, Lord, this is your will. I will keep him. I ended up keeping him, and he's a year old now. But I was still in the relationship with his dad, and it got worse. I mean, he would constantly degrade me, call me all these names, never did anything. I just had a horrible pregnancy. Like, my pregnancy was healthy, but just his dad drained me, like, to the core. Like, I completely lost myself. I distanced myself from the Lord because it was just a horrible relationship. Well, I decided when Xavier was born, and it never stopped. Like, it constantly got worse and worse and worse. He would always cheat on me. He would always just did not treat me the way that I knew I should be treated, and I knew the Lord wanted me to leave him. So one day I was at work and I decided I was going to leave him. And he ended up coming over to my house, taking care of Xavier, which he never does, which I thought was weird, and left a gift basket and a note on my bed, and went into my bathroom and OD'd. They ended up resuscitating him twice, and he's alive. He ended up becoming alive, but I remember just being an emotional wreck. I mean, I was speeding there the whole way there. I got pulled over on the way there, and I was just like, Lord, why does these, like, what is going on? Why? And I ended up getting to the hospital, and I was like, okay, I have to be with him. I ended up not leaving him because I felt bad. I was like, okay, I do love him. Like, if I'm feeling these emotions, I love him. And it was probably 5 months after, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And I was like, I cannot have Xavier go through life like this. I don't want him to think this is what love is. Like, I can't even be the mother I want to be because he's just draining me, and all my attention is towards him, and he expects that to be. He made me get rid of all my friends. Like, literally followed me everywhere, was very obsessive, would show up at my house at 4 o'clock in the morning saying I was cheating on him, or like cussed out my parents, got in my mom and dad's face. And I ended up breaking up with him, and a couple months later we ended up getting a restraining order because he was just very obsessive, and he ended up threatening his son and me. So, and after I broke up with him, I developed my relationship with the Lord. I ended up just being it's okay. I grew my relationship with the Lord, ended up getting my Bible, ended up finding a Bible study and a community that could actually like help me get through the things I wanted to get through. And now I'm happily living my life with the Lord, continuing to try to do God's will. And now I know that everything that has happened to me is making me into the woman that I want to be today, and that I'm able to help other women.